The rain pounded against the window of my cramped Brooklyn apartment as I stared at the email that would upend my life. "Congratulations, Alex Rivera." It read, "Your manuscript has been selected for publication by Sterling Press. Your editor will be contacting you shortly." But when the follow-up call came, the voice on the other end was one I'd buried deep in my past, Ethan Caldwell, the man who'd once held my heart captive in a web of forbidden desire and devastating choices. I froze, my coffee mug slipping from my hand and shattering on the floor. Ethan, the golden boy from my college days at NYU, the one whose family owned half of Manhattan's real estate empire. Back then, we'd been inseparable, two guys navigating the chaos of young adulthood in a city that never slept. But our bond had crossed lines neither of us was prepared for, lines drawn by his conservative parents and the weight of societal expectations. Now, 5 years later, he was my editor, the irony twisted like a knife. That evening, I paced the room, memories flooding back. We'd met in a literature seminar, debating Hemingway's machismo with a passion that sparked something electric between us. Ethan, with his sharp jawline and confident stride, was the epitome of privilege. Son of a tycoon father and a socialite mother who expected him to marry well and carry on the family legacy. I was the scholarship kid from a working-class Latino family in Queens, scraping by on dreams of becoming a writer. Our friendship blossomed into late-night talks in his dorm, sharing secrets under the glow of city lights. One night, after too many beers, he leaned in, his breath warm against my skin, and kissed me. It was a shockwave, awakening feelings I'd suppressed for years. But the aftermath was brutal. Ethan's father, Richard Caldwell, caught wind of rumors and confronted him in a family dinner that turned into an ultimatum. Cut ties or lose everything. The trust fund, the internship at Caldwell Enterprises, the future he'd been groomed for. Ethan chose his family, or so I thought. He ghosted me, leaving me heartbroken and questioning my own identity in a world that still viewed love like ours with suspicion. I channeled the pain into writing, pouring my soul into a novel about hidden identities and the cost of authenticity. And now that very novel had brought him back. The next day we met at a neutral coffee shop in Midtown, the kind with overpriced lattes and anonymous crowds. Ethan looked the same, polished suit, piercing blue eyes, but there was a weariness in his posture, like he'd been carrying a burden. "Alex," he said, sliding into the booth. "I didn't know it was you until I read the manuscript. Your pen name, it's clever." I nodded curtly, my heart racing. The book was semi-autobiographical, veiled just enough to protect the innocent or the guilty. It explored a young man's struggle with his sexuality amid familial pressures, the internal battles that mirrored our own. We dove into edits, but the tension was palpable. Every suggestion he made felt loaded, like he was dissecting our shared history. "This scene where the protagonist confronts his lover's betrayal," he said, pointing to a page. "It needs more raw emotion. Show the fallout." I bit my tongue, wondering if he realized he was the betrayer in question. As weeks passed, our meetings blurred the lines between professional and personal. Late-night emails turned into calls, reminiscing about old times. One evening, over takeout in his office, he confessed, "I never stopped thinking about you, Alex. Leaving was the biggest mistake of my life." His words hung in the air, reigniting the spark I tried to extinguish. But doubt crept in. Was this genuine or just nostalgia? Ethan's life was still entangled in his family's web. Engaged to a woman named Victoria, daughter of a business ally, to solidify a merger. The engagement had been announced in the society pages, a strategic move to expand the empire. Coming out now would mean defying not just his parents, but the board of directors who valued tradition over truth. I pushed back, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "You chose them once, Ethan. What's different now?" He leaned forward, eyes intense. "I've changed. Therapy, self-reflection. But it's not that simple. My father's health is failing. He's grooming me to take over. If I rock the boat." He trailed off, the implication clear. Financial ruin, social ostracism. Yet, in that moment, I saw the conflict tearing at him. The man who wanted freedom versus the son bound by duty. As our collaboration deepened, so did the intimacy. Stolen glances, accidental touches. But I guarded my heart, remembering the pain of abandonment. My own family wasn't immune to prejudice. My abuelita's Catholic roots made discussions of my sexuality taboo, though my parents tried to be supportive. The novel forced me to confront my fears, and editing with Ethan amplified them. One night, after a heated argument over a plot twist, he grabbed my hand. "This isn't just about the book, is it?" No, it wasn't. It was about us, about the choices we'd made and the ones looming ahead. The first crack appeared when Ethan's mother, Eleanor, showed up unannounced at his office. She was a force, elegant, unyielding. Overhearing our conversation, her eyes narrowed. "Who's this?" she asked, voice laced with suspicion. Ethan introduced me as his author, but the air thickened. Later, he admitted she'd been pressuring him about the wedding plans. "She senses something's off," he said. I felt a pang of guilt. Was I the catalyst for another family implosion? The pressure mounted as deadlines approached. Sterling Press demanded revisions, and our sessions grew intense. Ethan pushed for authenticity in the protagonist's internal monologue, drawing parallels to his own suppressed desires. "Make him fight harder," he urged. "Show the moral dilemma, the love versus the legacy." I wondered if he was editing the book or rewriting his life. Meanwhile, my agent praised the chemistry in our work, unaware it stemmed from unresolved history. One weekend, Ethan invited me to his family's Hamptons estate for inspiration. I hesitated but went, curious about the world he'd chosen over me. The sprawling mansion overlooked the ocean, a symbol of the Caldwell fortune built on cutthroat deals. Richard Caldwell, frail but commanding, greeted us with a firm handshake. "So, you're the writer Ethan's raving about," he said, his gaze appraising. Victoria was there too, poised and beautiful, planning bridal details with Eleanor. Watching Ethan interact with her, polite but distant, stirred jealousy I hadn't anticipated. That night, under the stars on the beach, Ethan pulled me aside. "I can't marry her, Alex. Not when I feel this way about you." His confession was a whirlwind, but reality crashed in. "What about your father? The company?" I asked. He sighed, admitting the merger hinged on the union. Walking away meant lawsuits, lost partnerships. Yet, he spoke of therapy sessions where he'd unpacked his internalized homophobia, the fear instilled by a father who viewed vulnerability as weakness. Back in the city, the conflict escalated. Ethan's sister, Mia, a progressive ally, cornered him after a family brunch. "You're miserable," she whispered. "Tell them the truth." But when he hinted at doubts, Richard exploded. "This family doesn't do scandals. Think of the shareholders." The outburst left Ethan shaken, questioning if his happiness was worth the fallout. He confided in me, his voice breaking. "I've spent years pretending. For what? A life I don't want." I faced my own demons. My novel's release loomed, and with it, potential exposure. What if readers connected the dots? My parents, supportive but traditional, worried about backlash in our community. "Mijo, be careful," my mom said. "Not everyone understands." The story delved into those fears, the shame, the isolation. Editing with Ethan forced me to relive them, but it also healed old wounds. A turning point came during a heated edit session. Frustrated by a scene of rejection, Ethan slammed the manuscript down. "This is us, isn't it?" I was the coward. Tears welled in his eyes. I reached out, our hands intertwining. In that vulnerability we kissed, the first since college. It was electric, a release of pent-up emotion. But guilt followed. "We can't," I said, pulling away. "Not while you're engaged." The betrayal began subtly. Victoria sensed the shift, confronting Ethan. "Is there someone else?" she asked. He denied it, but the lie weighed on him. Meanwhile, Richard's health declined, a heart condition exacerbated by stress. Doctors warned against shocks. Ethan grappled with the moral quandary. Come out and risk his father's life, or suppress his truth and lose himself? Society's gaze amplified the drama. At a publishing event, whispers followed us, two men too close for colleagues. A tabloid snippet hinted at Caldwell Ayre's secret project, fueling speculation. Ethan's family monitored his every move, Eleanor hiring a PI to dig into my background. When she discovered our college connection, she ambushed me at a cafe. "Stay away from my son," she hissed. "You'll destroy him." Her words stung, echoing the prejudices I'd fought. But they ignited my resolve. "He's already destroyed, living a lie," I retorted. The encounter forced Ethan to choose sides. He defended me, straining family ties. Mia supported him, revealing her own secret. She was bisexual, hidden for years. "We're in this together," she said. As the manuscript neared completion, so did the crisis. Ethan broke off the engagement, citing irreconcilable differences. Victoria, heartbroken but understanding, wished him well. But Richard's reaction was volcanic. "You're throwing away your future for what? Some fling." The argument led to a hospital visit. Richard's heart faltered under the strain. Ethan blamed himself, torn between love and filial duty. Visiting his father, he whispered apologies. Richard, weakened, grumbled, "I just wanted what's best." But the damage was done. The merger collapsed, stocks dipped, and lawsuits loomed. Ethan stepped back from the company, choosing a quieter path in publishing. For me, the cost was emotional. Supporting Ethan meant reliving my abandonment, but it also meant growth. The novel's themes resonated deeper now, the price of authenticity in a judgmental world. With the book finalized, promotion began. Interviews probed the story's inspirations, and I danced around truths. "It's about universal struggles," I'd say. But Ethan, now free from the engagement, pushed for openness. "Let's go public," he suggested. Fear gripped me. My family's reaction, potential backlash in the literary world. Queer stories sold, but authenticity invited scrutiny. Richard, recovering, disowned Ethan via a terse letter. "You've shamed us." The empire he'd built excluded his son. Eleanor, torn, pleaded for reconciliation, but Ethan's resolve held. "I can't pretend anymore," he told her. Mia mediated, urging understanding. "Love isn't a choice, Mom." The fallout rippled. Ethan's trust fund frozen. He moved into a modest apartment, trading luxury for freedom. "It's liberating," he said, though worry lines etched his face. I offered support, our relationship evolving from tentative to committed. Dates in Central Park, quiet dinners. Simple joys overshadowed by drama. But internal conflicts persisted. Ethan questioned his decisions. Was love worth the ruin? Therapy helped, unpacking years of conditioning. "I was raised to prioritize success over self," he admitted. I shared my struggles. Coming out to my family had been gradual, met with love but concern. "They fear for my safety," I said. A major confrontation unfolded at a family gathering. Invited by Mia, Ethan faced his parents. Richard, wheelchair-bound, glared. "You think this phase justifies destroying the family?" Ethan stood firm. "It's not a phase, Dad. It's who I am." The exchange was raw, exposing generational divides. Eleanor softened slightly, admitting, "I don't understand, but I don't want to lose you." Society's pressure intensified. Online trolls targeted us, doxing my address. "Faggots ruining America," one message read. It shook me, reminding of broader prejudices. At a panel on queer literature, I spoke out. Stories like mine challenge norms, but change comes at a cost. Ethan nodded, our united front strengthening. Yet betrayal lurked. An old college friend, jealous of my success, leaked details of our past to a gossip site. Rivera's novel is a revenge tale against Caldwell. The accusation stung, implying manipulation. Ethan doubted. "Did you write this to get back at me?" Hurt, I denied it. It was therapy, not vengeance. The misunderstanding nearly broke us. Arguments ensued, trust frayed. "You've cost me everything," he lashed out once. I countered, "You chose this path." Reconciliation came through honest talks, acknowledging mutual pains. As the book climbed charts, validation arrived. Readers shared stories of similar struggles, thanking us for representation. But success didn't erase scars. Ethan's family ties mended slowly. Richard attended a therapy session, grudgingly. "I built this empire for you," he said. Ethan replied, "But at what price to my soul?" My own awakening deepened. Writing had been cathartic, but living the truth was transformative. We navigated the mending, each decision a step toward healing. Post-publication, life stabilized, or so we thought. Ethan joined a smaller publishing house, embracing his passion over power. I toured for the book, sharing platforms with activists. Our relationship blossomed publicly, a beacon for others. But undercurrents of doubt persisted. A new conflict arose when Richard offered reconciliation with conditions. "Come back to the company, marry respectably." Tempted Ethan, the allure of security strong. "What if I can change things from inside?" he mused. I saw the trap. Assimilation over authenticity. "That's compromising who you are," I argued. The debate raged, highlighting moral ambiguities. Was fighting the system from within noble or a sellout? Ethan wrestled, his therapy notes filled with pros and cons. Mia advised against. Don't regress. But financial strain, debts from the fallout, pushed him. In a moment of weakness, Ethan met Richard secretly. "I'll consider it," he said, not telling me. When I discovered via a text, betrayal hit hard. "How could you?" I demanded. He explained, "For us, to build a stable life." But it echoed his past choices, prioritizing legacy over love. The argument escalated to a breakup threat. "If you go back, we're done." Tears flowed, the weight of decisions crushing. Ethan chose us, rejecting the offer. "I won't live half a life." Richard's response was final disinheritance, but it freed Ethan completely. Society's lens shifted. A documentary on queer heirs featured us, humanizing the struggle. Support grew, but so did opposition. At a protest against anti-LGBTQ+ bills, we marched, facing counter-protesters' slurs. It tested our resilience, the physical danger real. Internally, I questioned my role. Had I pushed too hard? Therapy revealed my abandonment issues, stemming from Ethan's initial ghosting. "Forgiveness is ongoing," my counselor said. We attended couple sessions, unpacking layers. A pivotal awakening came during a visit to my family. My parents hosted Ethan, awkward but warm. Abuelita prayed silently, but later hugged him. "Love is love," she whispered, a small victory over dogma. As tensions eased, new challenges emerged. Ethan's former colleagues shunned him, labeling him a traitor. Professional opportunities dwindled, forcing reinvention. He started a blog on ethical publishing, gaining a niche following. Our bond strengthened through adversity. Shared decisions like adopting a dog symbolized commitment, but the costs lingered. Lost friendships, strained relations. Years condensed into months of growth. The novel spawned a sequel with Ethan co-authoring. Collaboration healed, turning pain into purpose. But external forces tested us again. Richard's death from complications shocked everyone. At the funeral, Ethan stood apart, an outcast. Eleanor approached. He regretted the rift. Inheritance bypassed him, going to Mia. She offered a share, but Ethan declined. "I need to earn my way." The loss prompted reflection. Ethan mourned not just his father, but the relationship that could have been. If only he'd accepted me. It fueled advocacy. He spoke at events, challenging corporate homophobia. Society evolved slowly. Marriage equality was law, but discrimination persisted in subtle ways, job biases, family rejections. Our story inspired a podcast series, Amplifying Voices. Personal damages surfaced. Ethan's health suffered, stress-induced anxiety. Medication and mindfulness helped, but the toll was evident. I supported but worried about burnout. A moral crossroads arrived when a rival publisher offered me a solo deal, excluding Ethan. "Your voice stands alone," they said. Temptation loomed, financial security. But loyalty won. "We're a team," I told Ethan. Betrayal struck from unexpected quarters. Victoria, now a media exec, published a tell-all insinuating Ethan's manipulation. He used me for cover. The scandal reignited tabloids, questioning our authenticity. Ethan confronted her. Why now? Revenge, she admitted, for the humiliation. Defending our truth, we went on a talk show. Love isn't perfect, but it's real, Ethan said. The exposure backfired initially, but ultimately garnered sympathy. Awakening fully, we committed to activism, founding a foundation for queer youth, channeling pain into progress. Families like ours found solace. Yet, doubts whispered. Had the sacrifices been worth it? Stability settled, but echoes of turmoil remained. Our Brooklyn home became a sanctuary, filled with books and memories. Ethan thrived in indie publishing, mentoring young writers. I wrote freely, unburdened by secrets. Reconciliations bloomed. Eleanor visited, bridging gaps. I was wrong, she admitted. Mia's wedding included us, a family reborn. Society's acceptance grew, but battles continued. Anti-trans legislation reminded us of fragility. We lobbied, turning personal stories into policy pushes. Internally, we reflected on choices. Ethan's decision to come out cost an empire, but gained integrity. Mine to forgive rebuilt trust. The journey's end brought peace, but questions lingered. In quiet moments, we pondered the paths not taken. Was sacrificing family legacy for personal truth the right choice, or a selfish act that harmed more than it healed?